In this video, I'm going to talk about the dark side of materialism because so many people on planet Earth have fallen into this trap, especially when it comes to Western countries. How many times throughout the day do you beat yourself up for not being where you want to be financially? You probably own a car, have a roof over your head, clothes in the closet, but you want all those designer bags and clothes, and you want the bigger house and the nicer car, so you beat yourself up for not being where you want to be. But if you were to evaluate your life and then think about how people are dying from starvation and pray to have half of the things that you already have accumulated, it seems kind of silly to beat yourself up for not having these material possessions. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having goals and wanting to be uber successful. But if you beat yourself up daily on a constant basis, then you've fallen into the materialism trap. So let's look at designer products. And before we get into things, I just want to say I've personally fallen into this trap. I went out and bought $1,000 Boss jacket. I also went out and bought a $350 jacket that's very similar, just a different color from RW & Co. Both jackets keep me warm. Both jackets have pockets, a zipper, and buttons, but one costs almost 3 times more than the other one. So why spend more money on a product when we don't have to? Reality is we think it's going to make us feel better when we do so. But when you realize that good feeling that we're searching for is produced within and has absolutely nothing to do with the product, spending more money for something starts to make less sense. Another example, 2 women show up to a restaurant for lunch. One has a Coach bag, the other has a Birkin bag. One costs $300, the other costs $30,000. They both do the same shit, but the woman with the Coach bag looks at the Birkin bag and all of a sudden her purse that was once something that made her happy has now become inadequate. Have you ever asked yourself, why does an expensive designer product make you feel better than having a decent or even good quality product at a lesser price? What if that belief stems from you thinking that when other people see you with this expensive designer product, that they're going to view you as more important or more successful? But what happens when you already cultivate that feeling within without the product and without needing outside validation? When it comes to the dark side of materialism, the biggest tragedy is the fact that so many soul connections get flushed down the toilet over material wealth. Do you know what would happen if everyone on the planet made the same amount of money? The most valuable trait that a person could bring to the table in regards to a romantic connection would be their capacity to love you. Instead, we live in a reality where the most sought after trait is how successful someone is financially. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when a woman meets a new guy and goes for lunch with the ladies, what's the first question that's usually asked by all of her friends? What does he do for a living? Where does he live? And what kind of car does he drive? All superficial bullshit reasons to get excited about. Instead, a person should get excited by the idea of being able to say, oh my God, I met someone who's honest and loyal and loves me in a way that I've never experienced before. But that's not how it works on planet Earth. I don't know about you, but for myself personally, I'd rather meet a broke woman where the connection is so strong that we could sit in a ditch on a rainy day and have the time of our lives over meeting a rich woman where I find myself in a fancy villa in Mexico questioning if this person is the right person to spend the rest of my life with. When it comes to materialism, if you can clearly afford something that's a little overpriced or a lot overpriced, then go ahead and do you. But don't beat yourself up on a daily basis because you want to go from an Audi to a Bentley. And by all means, one of the biggest tragedies is passing up on a great connection due to material gains. So be mindful when it comes to materialism.